Hi guys, welcome back to my manga read along. If you guys didn't see my video before, things are going to be going a little bit differently this week because of this week was my birthday, or is my birthday, and then it was also Mother's Day. So this past week I spent with my family, the weekend rather, and then this upcoming weekend I'm probably going to be spending with my friends to celebrate that. So yeah, things are going to be slow. I'm probably not going to read as much this week, but I'll try my best. But I still read like 14 volumes this week, so that's pretty good. It was just at the expense of my videos coming out. Not bad, huh? So let's go through it. So I read Muscles Are Better Than Magic. This I thought was just going to be a Mashal clone. This I don't think is a Mashal clone. I haven't read Mashal. But essentially it follows this guy right here who's been living in the wilderness for a few years. And this elf who got lost in the wilderness. And the two of them are working to get out of the, forest. So this guy is the same main character at the beginning here. So he wears a limiter to keep his muscles in check. His limiter is in fact just his clothes. So not much of a limiter if you ask me. This whole manga is just hilarious. There's one scene where he makes a fireball and, he's like, yeah, I can do like anything really. And she's like, how can you make a fireball? All you have is muscles. And he's like, see, he does it. He makes fire right there. And so this is what he says when he explains it. I punched real hard and my fist caught on fire. And she's like, pardon? I punched real hard and my fist caught on fire. He's like, a magic without magic, muscle magic. So it's not magic then. You're just really strong. So it's hilarious, I love this manga. I thought this was great. I can't wait for the second volume. It's pretty much just this elf who's the straight man for the most part, but since she's also an elf, she's kind of outside of her comfort zone. So she doesn't really get, what humans are up to. And then this guy who's just like a straight up crazy person. So definitely recommend reading if you like comedies like that, where it's just kind of like shock humor and just totally unexpected. Sorry, I just woke up. So now I got like the sleepies in my throat. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm just gonna say that's a thing and then we'll walk past it. Katana. This is the second side story of Goblin Slayer. Katana, the Singing Death. Ooh, so edgy. This is brutal. This is like kind of like what Goblin Slayer would be if you didn't just go around hunting goblins the whole time. I loved it. This was great. Essentially, they have to go into this big castle labyrinth that it came out of nowhere and get through it to fight the end boss. So this is really just forming the party and beginning to go through the dungeon, but it is really cool. These characters are super badass. It's not funny really at all. It's got some humor, but this is like a much more serious than normal Goblin Slayer story. I do recommend reading this because this is like Goblin Slayer without any of the fat. Without just killing goblins. This is like every other adventure in the world of Goblin Slayer's life for the most part. This is like what they have to deal with and what they have to go through. So it's pretty brutal. My room is a dungeon rest stop. I picked this up because, it kind of reminded me of Konosuba, just to be honest with you guys. So I picked it up and it starts off with this kid trying to find an apartment in Tokyo, which is impossible. But he finds this super good apartment, and he's like, dude, what's the catch? Like, there's something not right here about this apartment. And so it turns out that if you try to leave the apartment, it goes, you walk into a dungeon. But if you leave through the window, then you can go into Tokyo. So that's what he has to do. He leaves through the window whenever he wants to go out. But he can also go into the dungeon world. When he goes into the dungeon world, he has to play by the dungeon world's rules. So he has a status screen, he can kill slimes to level up, but he pretty much just likes to stay to his own in his house, in his apartment, with this adventurer that he finds in the dungeon who got abandoned and like totally destroyed by goblins. He tells her he's a mage, and he's like, listen, you can't read these tomes. These tomes are cursed, and it's just like a hentai collection. It's hilarious. So this is just like a good comedic read. It's really cool because he's starting to learn more magic. He's starting to learn more about the world. As he eats food and makes different foods and drinks, he like gets different stat buffs in that world too. So it's interesting to see, you know, the everyday things kind of affect you in the dungeon. He also is pretty much keeping this girl in his room, nursing her back to health. But she doesn't have like a party to go into the dungeon with, so I'm intrigued to see if she just ends up staying with him or if he's gonna actually explore the dungeon or what. I also read Witch Hat Atelier. This is great. This is so good. The art is so good. I'm gonna sneeze. And essentially, what it is this girl stumbles upon a witch when she's a little girl and gets like totally enthralled with magic. With that, she wants to be a witch, but her mom tells her she can't be a witch because she wasn't born a witch. It's like, damn, my lineage. Eventually, she spies on this guy. His name's Quifuri, or Chifuri. I don't know how you actually say his name. There's a lot of words in this manga that I don't know how to say, okay? And she finds out that he just draws circles with magic. So she's like, oh, that witch gave me a book when I was a little girl and a pen. What if I just draw the circles like he did? So she draws the circles in the book, casts magic, and turns her mom into stone. So it's pretty much just her life as a witch, because now she's got to make her mom not stone and help this guy find the witch who gave her the book. And the reason for that is because the witch who, you know, she got the book from is actually like a bad witch, or a witch using forbidden magic, which is any magic that alters the mind, the body, uses it for offensive reasons, things like that. What's also cool is this artist works in Marvel and DC to make variant covers. You know, it's just pretty neat. But yeah, the art to it is really cool. I really like the characters because the characters are, for the most part, kids. And then the main teacher guy is an adult, but he seems like he's up to something like shady. What is he up to? I don't even really know. All I really know about him is he's like way too interested in these evil witches called the Brimmed Caps. And like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. Like, it seems like he's way too interested in it. But like, there's like a wand shop, and wands in this kind of series is, you know, they're pens. They have shoes that have magic circles on the bottom of them that you can walk on in the air. It reminds me of a mix of like Harry Potter and Fullmetal Alchemist, and some pieces of like early Naruto, like when they were, you know, pre-time skip. I kind of feel like the main character's teacher is Kakaishi sometimes. But yeah, this is like a really cool world. I definitely strongly recommend looking into this. This is not a series that enough people are talking about. You know, I think right now there's only 6 or 7 volumes out, so I think it's 6 with the 7th one on the way. But some crazy stuff happens in it, and some really cool things happen as well. But bottom line is, it's a super gorgeous manga. The art is amazing. I strongly recommend checking it out. Let me flip these over. That's how I usually do things here. That way you guys know how many is left. I also read this. Finally. This one has 7 volumes out. It's called MachiMaho. I messed up and made the wrong person into a magical girl. Essentially, this little fairy creature makes this girl a magical girl at the last second because he really needs, you know, a magical girl to save his butt and defeat these demons. But it turns out she's like a total delinquent. So he gives her magical powers, and she's super negative energy, and she's like a total badass. And this guy comes across her and pisses her off, and then now he's her slave forever in order to make up for it. Otherwise, she's going to kill him. There's a scene where she transforms, and when she transforms, she's naked, right? And so these two are just staring at her naked, and then you see these question mark boxes here, friends? Yeah, that's what you think that is. Them's the Bonners, okay? And so that's why he has to be her slave forever, because otherwise she'll kill him for looking at her naked body. When this guy is badass, he's my favorite character in this. Anyways, there's tons of panty shots. Why are there tons of panty shots? It's kind of realistic. I mean, if a girl was doing these high kicks and like everything like that, there'd be a lot of panty shots. But like this is like gratuitous. There are too many. I don't really care that much, but it's just as like, it's kind of like a joke, making fun of the Magical Girl series, you know, because all the shots they do, like there should be something there, but they usually just put a shadow there. And this girl is like straight up addicted to cigarettes, like hardcore. So the teacher throws chalk at her because she's not paying attention, and she thinks she's like daydreaming. She thinks it's a cigarette, so she like catches it with her mouth and she goes, "Sweet nicotine," and then she says, "This cigarette, it ain't enough because it's not a cigarette." But there's some sweet action in it too, and she's just crazy. See, where's my damn light? It's like, look at all that blood and gore. It's crazy. And eventually there ends up being like all this text. You can read it, but the main character usually shuts down big text bubbles like that, like out of nowhere. She'll be like, "Shut up." But yeah, this is like a super good read. I strongly recommend it. It goes super deep. You know, it's got a ton of interesting characters. This is the same guy with the pompadour. This is the same character, which always blows my mind. When there's another magical girl also, and she's made with the dark magic, and she is also not as badass, but the main character is super jealous of her because her tits are huge and she's more like flat, and so she just calls her tits for brain. She says the world ain't fair. It's hilarious. She's like super brash and just says whatever's on her mind. But yeah, this is like definitely a manga that's more mature, no question. I strongly recommend checking it out though. It's hilarious. The demons also end up having the ability to like mind control humans and just turn humans into magical girls as well, which is kind of unprecedented. However, there's no more demons outside of Earth really, because the main character is just so negative that she draws all the demons to Earth. And she's so negative that she gets like this demonic form, which, you know, they've never seen a magical girl really wear before. So it makes you wonder if the evil magical girl, who's her, like kind of her friend, but like not really her friend, they're like she's like her rival, where she's like an honor student and everything like that, but she gets like this dark evil magic girl garb and she thinks she's the hero, which I think is kind of funny. Anyways, so yeah. I forget what I was saying with that. But in any case, it's really cool. They really go against expectations in this manga. I cannot wait for more to be read. And again, this really needs to be talked about more often. I feel like nobody's talking about this manga. Like, these two manga are just like, where are they in the manga tube community? Like, why is nobody talking about these? These are great. You know, you cannot hide these from the people any longer, okay, guys? Everybody needs to go pick this up ASAP. I continue to read Pokemon Adventures, volume 3 now, so this is going to cover 7, 8, 9, and finish up the red, blue, yellow arc, and start gold, silver, crystal. In terms of gold, silver, crystal, we get pretty darn far. He gets all the way to the Lake of Rage, and then we also get to see what Gary, red, I call him Gary, blue, red, yellow, and not green yet, but I'm sure we'll get green eventually, are up to. Gold doesn't really care about the badges, which I think is neat. All of his Pokemon, he gives it like the end name of Bow, so there's like Togebo, Exobo, things like that. But yeah, it's a pretty cool read. It's an interesting twist on it, because to not have the badges be like kind of the main center of things is neat. It actually kind of goes through before the game starts, because like Faulkner's not even a gym leader yet, and things like that. It also shows how Blue becomes a gym leader. It's nice, you know, it's cool to see things like that, so that was cool. But yeah, this is like, this was a very wordy read, so it took me a long time to read through it. I'll try to read through number 4 next week, but we'll see. So here's what I'm going to attempt for next week, okay guys? It's going to be a lot less than normal. I'm going to attempt to read number 4. In number 4, I believe, we'll just about wrap up the gold, silver, crystal volume. There might be, I think the next one is ruby. No, the next one is sapphire, I think, but I'm not 100%. I have it sitting right next to my bed in case I just go off on it, but I also have MachiMaho I'm going to try to finish up. Well, I shouldn't say I'm going to try. I probably definitely am going to try. I mean, I probably definitely am going to read through it. 5, 6, and 7. My room is a dungeon rest stop. 2 and 3. And this, I think, is going to be caught up. And then we have Hat Atelier, volume 5 and 6. So that should be plenty to read for me. If I go to read anything else, though, it'll probably end up being Smoking Parade Volume 2. But again, I really don't have that much time to read this weekend, since I'm going to be hanging out with my friends a lot this weekend, and that's usually when I read the most. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. What are you guys going to be up to this week? Anything cool, any sleeper hits that you wish people were reading that they're not? Please let me know in the comments below. And are you going to check out any of these series? Because I'm telling you, if you're not checking out these 2 series, I'm probably going to cry myself to sleep tonight. Anyways, that's it for today. Hope everyone has a good rest of the day, and thanks for watching. Bye.